please tell us what you did last week. If people don't respond, it's very possible that there is no such person or they're not working.
The largest federal workers union calling the email unlawful and an attempt to bully hardworking Americans.
Say one thing to Elon Musk. It's like, please put a dose of compassion in this. These are real people. These are real lives.
Do you think that DOGE could benefit from more streamlined communications? There was that email telling employees to give 5 things that they've done last week. Agency heads then told people to ignore it, but
You're
Elon
talking
Musk...
about the last email that was sent, where he wanted to know what you did this week. You know why he wanted that, by the way? I thought it was great, because we have people that don't show up to work and nobody even knows if they work for the government. So by asking the question, tell us what you did this week, what he's doing is saying, are you actually working? And then if you don't answer, like you're sort of semi-fired or you're fired, because a lot of people are not answering because they don't even exist. They're trying to find, that's how badly various parts of our government were run by, and especially by this last group. So what they're doing is they're trying to find out who's working for the government. Are we paying other people that aren't working? And you know, where's all that, where's the money going? We have found hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud so far, and we've just started. We're actually going to Fort Knox to see if the gold is there, because maybe somebody stole the gold. Tons of gold.
Some of the agencies...
So I think it was actually, there was a lot of genius in sending it. We're trying to find out if people are working. And so we're sending a letter to people, please tell us what you did last week. If people don't respond, it's very possible that there is no such person or they're not working.
Some of the agency heads instructed their employees not to respond because they were waiting on further guidance, but Elon Musk's tweet said a failure to respond would be taken as a resignation. So there's been a disconnect in communications.
Yeah.
Are you concerned at all about
that?
No.
That was done in a friendly manner. Only things such as perhaps Marco at State Department, where they have very confidential things, or the FBI, where they're working on confidential things. And they don't mean that in any way combatively with Elon. They're just saying there are some people that you don't want to really have them tell you what they're working on last week. But other than that, I think everyone thought it was a pretty ingenious idea. We have to find out where these people are. Who are they? And we said, if you don't respond, we assume you're not around.
And that holds, that stands.
And you're not getting paid anymore, too. So, you know, we're doing a real job. And we just had a poll come out, I guess the Harvard poll, saying that it's massively popular what we're doing.
There was some confusion this weekend for many workers across the federal government. More than 2 million workers received an email sent at the direction of Elon Musk, asking federal workers, what did you do last week? Back on Friday, the advisor to President Donald Trump posted on X, writing he would send the notices. Many workers are receiving different instructions on how to reply or even if they should reply. Here's ABC's Selena Wang with the details.
Tonight, President Trump's cabinet defying Elon Musk's order to federal workers, telling their agency employees to hold off on responding to an email from the Office of Personnel Management asking for 5 bullet points detailing their previous week's accomplishments. The pushback coming after Musk posted an ultimatum on social media, demanding federal workers justify their jobs before midnight Monday or face termination. Musk writing on X, failure to respond will be taken as a resignation. But several agencies telling workers to wait. Newly installed FBI Director Kash Patel ordering his workforce to pause any responses. Senior leaders at the State Department saying no employee is obligated to report their activities outside of their department chain of command. And tonight, the Department of Defense telling employees that the department will respond on their behalf when and if required. Acting U.S. Attorney in D.C. Ed Martin was one of the few senior officials to encourage his employees to comply, calling it a good opportunity to highlight the importance of our work. The largest federal workers union calling the email unlawful and an attempt to bully hardworking Americans. Sources tell ABC that even though Trump publicly urged Musk to get more aggressive on Saturday, top White House officials were caught off guard, the White House refusing to comment publicly. Even some Republican lawmakers questioning Musk's tactics.
If I could say one thing to Elon Musk, it's like, please put a dose of compassion in this. These are real people. These are real lives.
Also today, the National Treasury Employees Union filed a new lawsuit trying to prevent the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau from shutting down. This is the latest agency Trump is working to close in his efforts to reduce the size of federal government. Natalie Brand has more details now from the White House.
Thousands of federal employees returned to in-person work this Monday, but the government's Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has been ordered closed. Elon Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency posted on social media, CFPB RIP. Some Republican lawmakers applauded the move.
The CFPB has been out of control for some time. The way it's designed, I think, is unconstitutional. It has no oversight. It's been basically a reckless agency that's been allowed to go way beyond any mandate that I think was originally intended.
Congress established the Independent Watchdog Bureau in the wake of the Great Recession of 2008.
That crash was caused in large part by subprime predatory lending that happened all across the United States.
Dennis Kelleher, president of the advocacy group Better Markets, says since its creation, the CFPB has been a key ally for consumers.
In just 14 years, that agency has returned over $20 billion to more than 200 million ripped off Americans in all 50 states.
The move follows similar Trump administration actions to try and make cuts at USAID, the Agency for International Development, which helps distribute foreign aid. Friday, a federal judge blocked the administration from placing more than 2,000 staffers on administrative leave until at least February 14th. In a separate case, a federal judge hears arguments in Boston today on the administration's buyout offer presented to around 2 million federal employees. The White House says the offer still stands with a midnight deadline, while unions argue it's unlawful. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
There's confusion and conflicting guidance about an email sent by Elon Musk to more than 2 million US federal workers. Willie James Inman is at the White House with the details.
In an ultimatum posted on X, Elon Musk demanded federal employees write down what they accomplished last week, adding failure to respond will be taken as a resignation. The government's Office of Personnel Management said in a statement individual agencies will determine the next steps, with no mention of resignations. This weekend, President Trump urged Elon Musk to get more aggressive to slash spending.
And Elon is doing a great job. We love Elon.
But not every agency is following through on Musk's demand. FBI Director Kash Patel is among those pushing back, saying in an email obtained by CBS News that the Bureau will conduct reviews, adding when and if further information is required, we will coordinate the responses. Trump appointees at several other agencies, including the State Department and Department of Defense, are telling employees to disregard the email. The ultimatum is the latest confusion for federal workers who are already grappling with the Trump administration's aggressive efforts to shrink the workforce.
We're removing all of the unnecessary, incompetent, and corrupt bureaucrats from the federal workforce.
But some Republicans are calling for compassion.
If I could say one thing to Elon Musk, it's like, please put a dose of compassion in this. These are real people. These are real lives.
More job cuts are on the way as the Pentagon moves to fire 5,400 probationary civilian workers this week.
Welcome back to Union Base, where we focus on AI, unions, and the future of work. So this week we've been sort of watching some content focused on the email that Elon Musk and Doge sent out to federal government employees saying, essentially, tell us a few things you did this week or you're fired. Essentially, the problem with that is it's sloppy. It's not really a productive way to engage with the workforce. And if you think about it, there's really no way for us to really understand what Elon Musk's plan is because he hasn't really identified what that plan is. It seems like they're flying by the seat of their pants, and the goal is to just have as much chaos as possible. And they're succeeding at that. So far, we've had the shutdown of USAID and the threatening to fire IRS employees, CDC employees, Park Service employees, and so on and so on. The argument that I'm hearing in the comments from a lot of pro-Musk and pro-Trump people is that, this is all necessary and most government employees don't do anything. I mean, a lot of that is just, conjecture, right? We all have had some difficulty dealing with the government in one way or another because, the government is a large entity and large entities move slow and they're complex. But to say that we don't need any employees whatsoever or that we don't need a government is a function of our democracy. So I think whether you're, a leftist or a right-wing person, or you're just an average person and you're trying to figure out what's going on, the best way to understand it is through the lens of greed. Because what Elon Musk and Trump are doing is just trying to squeeze as much money as they can out of the system over the next 4 years as possible. That's it. It's just literally that simple. Don't try to make it more complicated than that. Musk has so many conflicts of interest in terms of, SpaceX and Tesla, right? It's a perfect way to get rid of your competitors, to be in the government and basically attack the regulators who regulate your companies. As far as Trump, we pretty much know what he's about. I've never been much of a person to talk too much about politics. I really don't care as much about it, even though I've had some pretty political roles. But I just think people need to see it for what it is. Don't be stressed out about it. Just understand that this is about greed. And when you understand that, a lot of this makes a lot more sense. So anyway, we'll keep bringing you some of this news as it rolls out. I'll just say that the email itself that went out from Doge and Musk, even some of Trump's appointees are telling their staff to ignore the email, and they've sort of stepped back from that. So that's the latest update. We'll have some more for you this week. Don't forget to visit unionbase.org and subscribe. Thank you.